Have you ever just stopped and asked yourself, what are we really made of? And I'm not talking about in some deep philosophical way. I mean literally, biologically. What's the main substance that makes up, well, you? For most of us, this is the answer. 60%. Yeah, 60% of your body isn't muscle or bone or anything else, it's water. But here's the thing, it's not just any old water. It's something way, way cooler than that.
You have to love this idea, because it's just so beautiful. The physiologist Claude Bernard figured this out ages ago. When our most ancient ancestors crawled out of the ocean, they couldn't just leave it behind. So they basically packed a piece of it to go. Every single one of us is a walking, talking aquarium carrying around our own perfectly balanced internal ocean.
So this internal sea, it's not just, sloshing around in there. Nope, it's super organized, split up into different compartments that all have a very specific job to do.
So all that water in your body isn't just one big puddle. It's actually split into two main areas. About 2/3 of it is inside your trillions of cells. We call that the intracellular fluid. And the other third? That's on the outside, bathing all those cells. And that, you guessed it, is the extracellular fluid.
Think of this extracellular fluid as your body's personal courier service. It's the plasma in your blood, which is like a river, delivering all the good stuff. And it's also the fluid that surrounds every single cell, making sure they've got everything they need to stay happy and do their jobs.
Okay, but here's a key point. This internal sea of ours isn't just plain water. It has a secret ingredient, something that gives it all its power. And we're talking about the salt of life itself, electrolytes.
So what even is an electrolyte? Well, the simple version is it's a mineral that, when you dissolve it in water, carries an electric charge. These aren't just minerals, though. They are the actual tiny sparks that let your nerves fire, let your muscles contract. They literally power our entire biology. And in this whole electrical drama, there are two absolute superstars, sodium and potassium. It's helpful to think of sodium as the guardian, standing watch outside the cell. Meanwhile, potassium is the powerhouse, doing most of its work inside the cell. They're in this constant push and pull.
And this table right here, this shows you just how intense that push and pull really is. I mean, look at these numbers. The amount of sodium outside the cell is nearly 10 times what it is on the inside. And for potassium, it's the complete opposite. This isn't an accident. It's a brilliant design. Your cells have this microscopic bouncer at the door, the sodium-potassium pump, that works non-stop to keep things this way. Because that imbalance, that is literally the battery that powers life itself.
Okay, so keeping this perfect, delicate balance sounds super complicated, right? Well, good news. Your body has this incredible, fully automated system that handles the whole thing, and you never even have to think about it.
It really is like a super sophisticated autopilot. Your brain is the command center, right? It's constantly checking how salty your blood is. And your kidneys, they're the master filtration plant, making these precise adjustments, deciding exactly what to keep and what to let go of.
And it all works because of this elegant little feedback loop. Let's say your body starts losing water. Tiny little thirst sensors in your brain notice that your internal sea is getting a tad too salty, and that immediately triggers two things. First, you feel thirsty, and second, your brain releases a hormone, ADH. That hormone is a direct message to your kidneys that basically says, hey, hold on to all the water, don't let any more escape. So you drink some water, the kidneys obey the order, and bam, balance is restored. It's just perfect. But you know what happens when the body is under some serious stress, like a major injury or a really bad illness? Well, that's when this perfect automated system can get pushed right to its absolute limits.
See, when things get really serious, your body doesn't care so much about perfect balance anymore. It has one priority, and one priority only: survival. It kicks into what's called the flow phase of metabolic response, which is basically an ancient hardwired program designed for one thing: to keep you alive.
So in this survival mode, hormones like ADH and another one called aldosterone just surge through your body. This is a massive signal to the kidneys to go into total lockdown. They hold on to as much salt and water as they possibly can. The goal is simple: keep the fluid volume up in your blood vessels no matter what, to keep your blood pressure stable. This right here is why patients can get all swollen after a major surgery. It's not a mistake, it's a deep, primal survival instinct kicking in. So, look, this biology is fascinating stuff, for sure. But how does it actually apply to us? Well, understanding this whole balancing act is actually the key to understanding a lot of modern medicine.
For example,
Have you ever been in a hospital, seen one of those clear bags hanging next to a bed, and just wondered, what's really in that thing? It's not just water, I can tell you that. It's a very specific, engineered solution designed to work with this exact system we've been talking about.
The two IV fluids you'll see most often are 0.9% saline and 5% dextrose. Now, the easiest way to think about them is like this. Saline is just salt and water in a bag. It's designed to stay in that extracellular space, outside the cells. Dextrose, on the other hand, is basically sugar water, and once your body uses up that sugar for energy, all you're left with is pure, free water.
And that's why the choice is so critical. If a patient has lost both salt and water, say from being sick, a doctor will give them saline to quickly refill that fluid volume outside the cells. But if a patient has only lost water, maybe from a fever and sweating a lot, they'll use dextrose. That gives them the pure water they need without loading them up with extra salt. It's all about gently nudging that internal C back into perfect balance.
You know, for all this amazing complexity, for this incredible self-correcting system, it usually sends us a very simple signal when it needs our help. Thirst. Your body is an absolute marvel of engineering, and it's working around the clock to maintain its internal ocean. The only real question is, are you listening to it?